all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, Blueberry, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Hey there, your yard took a real beating this summer. Luckily, Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard has your back. Just feed your grass with Scott's again this fall when the air is cool and the soil is warm. It's the perfect time to give your lawn a boost. If you do, Winter Guard will give your yard the nourishment it needs to help weak, thin grass recover and support root growth, giving you a greener, more resilient lawn both now and next spring. Guaranteed. Grab a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard today. You'll be back to barbecuing in no time. This is a Scott's Yard.
Hey parents, we all try to be extra careful with our children in the car, but then we get an important call or text. Remember, our children are watching. Make every drive a good example. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focused on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Gerald the Bossman Show. Got special guests for us, ESPN tennis analyst, former coach Andre Agassi, Andy Roddick, and Andy Murray. Brad Gilbert on the Bossman Show. BG, how things out there in California, man?
It's nice tonight out in Malibu. Nice to talk to you, Bossman.
Yes, indeed, BG. Come off the U.S. Open, Rafa Nadal gets it done again. The match against Daniil Medvedev, the guy who seemed like he never got tired, BG. That match was amazing. Nadal's up or breaking the third set, and Medvedev just started doing what he does. This becomes a wall, man. That was a great match. What are your thoughts on that match that we had at the final of the U.S. Open there?
Well, 2 sets to none, 3-2 a break. I was thinking in about 25 minutes, we'll be doing a highlight rip and getting ready for Rafa to come sit, in studio. And then he gave Medvedev a couple of lifelines. He missed the easy volley at 3-2 deuce on his serve, got broken. And then 4-all, I was thinking, okay, here comes the break. He had the overhead. It was about 3/4 court on break point. He missed that overhead in the net. And then from that point on, when he gave him those couple of lifelines, Medvedev started playing as aggressive as I've ever seen him play, and he was growing in front of our eyes. And I tell you, the massive swing then came early in the fifth. At 0-1 in the fifth, I thought he was a lot stronger physically, considering he was hurting in the second, and then Rafa looked tired, and then Rafa sneaks out of the game at 0-1 fifth 40. and then breaks him the next game from 40 love. That was just a monster swing, and that seemed to like re-give, Rafa like that life that, okay, this match is not going to slip away. But I tell you, until literally the umpire said game, set, and match Nadal, I wasn't sure that like he was going to put it away.
You got that right, BG. I was sweating watching the match myself. I was sweating because I was like, there's so many twists and turns, so much drama because Rafa up a double break. That's our trunk slammer. He wins that set. But against
I thought it was trunk slammer at 5-2 double break. But you know what's awesome about tennis, and there's no running out the clock, and that was the epitome of it. Guy breaks back, and then all of a sudden he had a break point at 5-4, and he kept battling literally until the umpire said those four valuable words: game, set, match, Nadal. And to have two finals back to back, Wimbledon final was like 457. I think this one was like 452 or something like that. I believe it's the longest two slam finals back to back ever. I mean, and tension filled. I mean, what an amazing way to end the year. And and Medvedev, everyone thought the guy played too much, and what a run he had, and just come up a little short. But he kind of all of a sudden is put himself in the position that like you will not be surprised if he wins next year.
You got that right, BG. I watched the Clayco season when he beat Djokovic in Monaco there. I saw him beat him. Yeah, he beat him in Monaco. He beat him in Cincinnati. I'm thinking, okay, he's just hot right now. But Medvedev just showed me this guy is really just like a backboard. He's kind of to me like an aggressive kind of puncher where he sits in the back of the court, uses his forehand, get that backhand real nice, and he can wear you down. And I never saw Rafa get that tired. He's got a
combination of like if you put Machir and maybe Murray like in the blender, maybe then you get Medvedev because he can play a lot of matches like he did this summer where he just plays ultra steady. And then occasionally then you'll get a match like the Djokovic-Cincinnati, then he starts going 2 first serves. And then it wasn't working when he was down 2 sets in the final, and then he started playing uber aggressive. So I like that he's willing to change, and he just makes a lot of balls. He's like one of those guys that is going to be a tricky out because he doesn't beat himself.
And, BG, I tell him Paul Jones, my buddy, about this. I feel like he's kind of like a Davydenko Ferrer, but with more firepower. Because he's just like a brick back there. You can't get nothing past the guy. He's lanky and long, and he's the best guy who moves over 6'5". He's the best mover, in my opinion.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, he would be, you wouldn't be surprised if he was like a thin 6'6". They list him at 6'7" probably for sure in the NBA, and he would be just coming down on the wing and throwing it down with authority. He'd be like a 3-baller that could jump out of the building. But what's unusual about him is for his style of game, he can serve big. Because a lot of times guys that are steady, you don't think of them, because a lot of times they're not bigger guys that play that style. And I think that's what makes him tricky. And I think the thing that I discovered about him that really threw me, I did 5 matches in a row of him last year at Winston-Salem with Jason Goodall. He was ranked 65. And he comes good and wins the tournament. And I remember me and Jason saying, I'll be shocked if a year from now this guy's not top 10. And we sold him short. Now he's top 5. But I thought like he was just missing his toss, like 2-3 feet to the right. And then little did I know, it looks like he intentionally throws it to the right and forward. So it's kind of like, a toss that you wouldn't think that somebody could miss it right and forward and then yet bang it flat. And he's got such long arms that I think that he freezes guys with that ball toss a bit. But his game is very clever because he's got a big serve, then yet he can play like very steady and clever.
Now, you're in number 1 race, BG. I think Rafa's going to play probably Shanghai, Paris, and London. And Joker, we'll see him in Tokyo as well in Shanghai. So, who do you think will end the number 1 year ranking? I think it might be Joker. Well, I don't see Rafa going that far.
There's a couple of big things. One, how is the Joker's shoulder? And I think depending on how much he plays, it will be dependent upon how much Rafa plays. I mean, he's got almost a 1,950-point lead. But I believe that, he's playing Labor Cup this week. Joker's not, so that's another weekend. And he's going to play the Davis Cup final, the Davis Cup that's in Spain. That's like an 8 or 9 day event. So a couple of like extra events in there. I think if he played probably, if he didn't go to Asia and then he played Paris and London, that would probably do it. It would be pretty amazing if Rafa could finish the year number one. All three of them will have finished the year-end number one 5 times and 15 of the last 16 years. It's beyond comical to even think that, but they could be looking at, obviously, we'll be one of the two, but it'll be 15 or 16, but it'll be pretty amazing if all three of them have 5 world number one finishes year-end.
Now, BG, Australia's going to green set. How's that court play? So will it be like the cushion they have now, or it be like a little different? I know Bercy plays on green set sometimes as well. So how's that court going to play in Australia in your mind? Would it be in green set now?
Until you actually see it, for yourself. Obviously, people start tweeting about it a little bit before I get there. But I do think that the sun massively affects the court. When they had rebound ace, it would play slower in the night, especially when the cooler conditions. It's a lot like Palm Springs. All of a sudden it gets 100 degrees, and then the court gets more play the second week. It speeds up. And also the courts in Australia, sometimes the outside courts will play a bit different than the stadium. But my guess is green set will be a bit slower and grainier than what they played on before. So the ball, I think, will scuff up, and I think it will be a bit slower than what it's been in the last 5 years. That's just a guess, but they also could tell green set that, let's make the court, similar speed than what we've had. Even though it's cushioned, you just put a little less sand in it, and it can be quicker. So that's up to the tournament and the manufacturer.
Now, BG, I saw an article on ESPN.com about U.S. men, why there are more African-American U.S. men playing tennis. I know I played it as a kid at Hadley Park in Nashville when I was with my mother. She'd take me to tennis camp for 2 weeks and played there. So I was exposed to the game at a young age. But how do we get more young African-American men to choose tennis over basketball, football, or baseball? I feel like it's a good sport for us if we actually just play it and learn the game the right way.
Well, it's a great question. I mean, in a simple answer, you can be great in basketball or football and barely ever leave your area code. And you don't need, the driving parent or somebody to be able to take you and the money and the economics. And, at 10, a lot of times in tennis, you're going to tournaments, you're traveling. In basketball, you might already be playing on an AAU team. You might be playing, just locally. I mean, so you have a chance to, stay locally, become really good, and the investment for the kid is nowhere near what it is in, let's say, tennis or potentially at golf, something like that, an individual sport where you need to go to leave your area code all the time. Not to mention, you need, to be practice hours away from organized. Like football, basketball, baseball, they're all in the schools. Tennis isn't in the schools. So that's what makes it different. But what's amazing is there's a lot of African-American girls that are becoming great because a lot of their parents were really good athletes. And you can't even say what sport is second to none to women's tennis. I mean, I believe of the top 10 highest, paid athletes in the world, about 9 of them are women's tennis players. So it's like WNBA, soccer, any of these sports, golf, they're nothing compared to women's tennis, where you could say men's tennis, at the top is pretty amazing, but still, there's soccer, there's football, there's basketball, there's baseball, there's hockey, there's other choices economically that are every bit as good as tennis, and the guys 50 to 150 make way more than they do in tennis.
Exactly. BG, I feel like it's a blessing that, my mother exposed me to tennis because, my dad was I wanted him to play football. Mom said he's playing tennis. So I played it until I was in high school. So I feel like if more parents like my mother are around to push their kids to say, let's do something different. Because I feel like if more African-American kids did that, we could really be good at the sport. Like I feel it's a great sport. Coco Golf, Sloan, Madison, Serena Vince, of course. You have all these you see success. And I feel like if you have an example of success, more want to jump into it. Chiafo as well, Donald Young as well, Mal Washington, James Blake, all these guys can really inspire more young men to jump into the game and be good at it. And help us, Americans, have more great talent to win titles again for America.
Obviously, right now on the men's side, Tiafo is probably, he's in the mix. We don't have anybody in my mind. Riley Opelka, I think, is the best hope for the American men. Taylor Fritz, but none of them are at the level of not yet of like Anisimova. Kennan. There's a bunch of, Whitney Oswego, who won the French juniors a couple of years ago, and there's got to be 7, 8 girls. Haley Baptiste, I think, is going to be really good from Washington D.C. There's quite a few that are, could be close. If I had to bet on one on the men's side, you can't coach being 7 feet tall. So I kind of like Opelka. I think he can be. I think he can be a better version of Isner.
Yes, he moves way better, and he has better ground strokes. Because I saw him in Atlanta, man. I thought he'll beat the demon, but he kind of got tired in the third set there. And what upset me, I was watching with Greg Sharko in the 12 hotel. Y'all texting each other. It was quite funny. We was watching it, and I was like, it was bad that the crowd did not show up for Riley in that semifinal. It was not pretty. I know it was hot outside, but come on, the big fellas show out and do some special. Show out for the guy.
Yeah, listen, the one thing is, Isner's been our top guy, right? And now Opelka, I wouldn't say that they're human highlight reels for fans yet to watch, but still, like playing in the States, you expect them to get the love, but I do think Opelka can be a top 5 player, and I think that Tiafo and Fritz can be top 10 players. And then if you get to that level, who knows? Francis is the best athlete of the 3. Riley's got the biggest weapons. Fritz has got the best technique, probably, but he's the least athletic of the 3.
You got that right, BG. Let's just talk about your Raiders, man. I thought your team was going to win Sunday, BG. They was up 10-0 in the first quarter. I got kind of happy. And then Pat Mahomes went on a run. Like, he went on like a mad run, 28 points in a row, man. So what are your thoughts on your Raiders this year? You got rid of Reggie Mack.
We got to survive this 6 games away. We need to go 3-3. If we go 2-4, 1-5, the season's toast. The coach in me was disheveled by Sunday's game on 2 decisions. And a lot of times, the quarterback play and the coaching is everything in the NFL. And that's why New England is, every year in and year out, they have the best coach. They got an amazing quarterback. Carr made a couple of huge, mistakes. One at the, in the end zone was inexcusable. But 2 early mistakes from Chucky, I thought, for me, were pitiful. You have a beautiful opening drive. You get 4th down and a half a yard at the 6-yard line, and you send the message to your team, let's go for 3. I hated that. Go for the touchdown there off a good drive. Now, they score in the next one. It's 10-7. Start the second quarter. Mahomes is just, first play of the second quarter, touchdown. We get the ball, and we get to the 50-yard line, 4th and a half a yard. The hoodie Bill Belichick not even thinking about that. Not even thinking in the history of the world. 4th and a half a yard, you're going for it. They punt to the 5-yard line. I even tweeted, okay, here goes 95 yards. About 3-4 plays later, boom, they're down 14-10. So it was like I was surprised, and I am surprised from Chucky on the coaching, how conservative he is, and he's yet to learn how to run, kind of the no-huddle, to do things a little bit faster when he needs to. But yep. I like some of their young personnel. I felt like the over/under on the team was pretty accurate this year, 5.5. So I'm hoping they go 7-9 type.
I hear that now, BG. I know. I will ask you this about. I feel like that the Antonio Brown situation kind of set them back because you give up a 3 and a 5 for this guy. You also give up a third for Martavis Bryant. Getting still receivers for Oakland does not work. I feel like that Brown was a bad move, and look what he's doing in New England. All these distractions around him there. So, what are your thoughts on that whole situation? He's acting a fool about his helmet, his feet with the frostbite, and how Chucky them just let him do what he wants to while he was there.
Well, listen. Obviously, they knew what they were getting, and it didn't work out. But Chucky needs to focus. If I'm the owner, I'm going to strip him. You only coach. You gave up a 3 last year for a receiver from Pittsburgh. How did that work out? About 3 or 4 games he played and he was suspended. So you do it again. The situation with Mack last year, killed the. So I would not let him be involved in any way, shape, or form in decision making. Just coach. See if you can coach. So 2 years in a row right before the season, that hurt. But now his coaching has to be better. And first and foremost, the biggest decision they got going forward to Vegas is Carr the guy.
I don't think he's the guy. I think that Chucky wants somebody else. I think he does.
So then that's what this whole year should be about. Is he the guy? And if he's not the guy, figure out on who to get the guy. But that in football, it's a team. It's not like basketball where one guy can make a massive difference. 2 guys can make a football. You can have a guy like Saquon Barkley be amazing, but your team can still be lousy. So in football, if you're going to have 2 good positions, it's like have the quarterback, be able to protect the quarterback, and have the coach, and then you're probably right there.
You got there right.
You have a good. That's probably the most important 3 for me: is the great quarterback, be able to protect the great quarterback, and have the coach to be able to, do it. And that's like the ultimate in success of what New England's done.
And you see here in Atlanta what we got going on with Matty Ice, Julio, and Dan Quinn. We're in trouble. We should have lost the game on Sunday. We should have lost to the Eagles. We got lucky. All the injuries they had. So I feel like the Falcons will be rebuilding next year with firing Dan Quinn as well. So I'm not enthused about football right now because my Falcons aren't very good. But I'm looking forward to the battle with the Hawks because I feel like the Hawks are a young, up-and-coming team. And I think the guys from Golden State that we got with Slink coming to go from Golden State is really helping us out with our rebuild because I feel like he's been doing a great job.
I think you guys win 40 games this year, 40 to 42 games. Which would be, maybe even 45 games is possible. So I like your youth. I like, you got some good young talent. I think you got 40 to 45 games. You win in the East. 40 would probably get you in the playoffs. 45 would guarantee you in the playoffs. So I kind of like what they're doing. Basketball is a bit of a progression, except for the Warriors. They went from no progression basically to winning it 5 years, 6 years ago. But I do think Atlanta will be a lot better this year.
BG, do you feel like this is how I feel, honestly? Had Clay not got hurt, Golden State wins that series. I feel like when he got hurt with the ACL injury, that took all the win out of themselves. They can't.
He was going for in Game 6. In Game 6, book it. He was going for 55. He was going for 55, 50 to 55. They were going to win by double figures. And then Game 7 is back there. And if Clay is, he's been a killer in Game 6s. And if all of a sudden they go for, a big Game 7, the Splash Brothers, they could have won that, I thought for sure. I thought they were still going to win that game even with Clay going down. But I didn't, without KD, without Clay, I didn't think they would probably win Game 7 on the road. Clay is like, he's like my favorite Warrior of all time. He's Mully 2.0. And if he'd have been a tennis player, he'd have been like the ultimate, 6'7", incredible tennis player. I think, with his movement, his disposition, he'd have been a 10-slam guy.
Man, Clay is great. I love seeing his workouts pregame when he comes play the Hawks, or I go to Memphis and see him in Memphis and Charlotte. I love watching the Warriors play. It's my favorite.
Go to Corky's when you go to Memphis.
Oh, I do it every time, man. And go to my man BB King's or them Bill Street. Great
but
ribs
go
there.
to Corky's.
Man,
I'm sad that we don't go back there for the tournament anymore, and then they demolish the club. But I mean, if I think of Memphis, I think of Corky's. Yeah,
you know what, BG? Do you
it might even
like,
get me to think about FedExing it.
Now, do you feel like this, BG, that Russell is just a rental? Do you feel like they're gonna keep him when he's a rental?
You know what? I can't even come up with an opinion on it until it's like asking me about the surface in Australia until you see it. So, like, how can you come up with an opinion until the three of them are on the floor together? Until they've played a sample size of, like, until they play 50 games together. So, no matter what they do next year, Clay won't be a full strength. So, I think it's the following season to see how the three of them play together.
And
are they too small?
And I think this,
because I think they can easily switch Clay to a small forward, but you can't form an opinion until you see it. And then all of a sudden, you can't say it's 10 games. It's got to be 50 games to see, okay, this thing has potential, or no, let's pull the plug on it. So I would say it's got to be the 2021 season, halfway into that season, and all of a sudden you go, uh-oh, this isn't working. Let's move on from this situation.
I was telling
But something tells me Kerr will be able to figure it out, but I think you need 50 games and a super healthy Clay to figure that out.
I'll tell some guys, the Warriors are in the playoffs next year. They're going to be scary. If Clay comes back around late March and they're not the 5th, 6th, or 7th seed.
He'll be back before that. He'll be back in February. By end of March, he'll be full strength. They'll win 50-ish games. We'll go from there.
I think
that's my guy.
Year.
Now I got to go get some. I'm going to the Lobster House tonight. I'm going to go get some lobster, a couple of beers. I'll be ready to rock.
Yes, indeed. With BG, thank you for your time, brother. I hope to see you real soon, man. Hope you come back to Atlanta next year, man.
Go to, and you know where you got to go in the ATL? Go to Umi Sushi.
Okay, I'll do that.
Umi Sushi, off the charts, and go to Buckhead Diner. Those are my two top choices in the ATL.
I will do that for you, BG. Thank you so much, buddy. Hey, have a great night. Talk to you real soon, buddy.
Yeah, see you later, buddy.
All right. That's Brad Gilbert on the Bossman Show.
Round and round, round and round.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to do 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
Suntan City, let yourself shine.
When you're a teen, you finally get to make some of your own decisions. Who are you going to hang out with? What do you want to be? Are you going to glance at that text while driving? Remember, a split second is all it takes for something tragic to happen. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer. All the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me.
You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.